Hello, it is Adrian and Will from Scale Messaging. And in this little series, we want to go through some sites, some e-commerce sites from a messaging CRO perspective, and basically just give our thoughts as a mix of a customer and also from a CRO perspective. Now, important caveat here before we start is obviously we don't have the analytics, we don't have all the background information. So this is more viewing it from a top line perspective. But we've chosen today the one to go through Sticks Golf. A good reason that we chose golf clubs is because Will, my business partner over there, smiling in his new house. He's got a new house. He's soon to be wifed up, and he's started getting into golf. Right, Will?
Yeah, sounds like the path. Yeah. So yeah, just gotta get into it and start looking for clubs. And this one pops up. It's like, well, perfect timing. Can probably be in the mindset of of a golfer and see how we respond to the messaging on the sites.
So we can
So should we get
combine
into
that.
it?
Let's do it. All right. So the way we're going to do this is, first of all, we want to have a look, just a quick look through the overall flow from seeing an ad through to those pages. Then we're going to point out some things that we like, that we think are working, and then we'll point out some things that we think could be improved. Again, from a messaging CRO perspective, and also from a Will needs a new set of golf clubs perspective, or a set of golf clubs. Okay, so this is just one of the ads that we've chosen. So, Will, any comments on the ad?
I think the angle about 6.99 is pretty compelling. Obviously, that's US dollars, but even convert that into Australian dollars, it's still very affordable. So that's probably hook number one. Hook number two is that these clubs do look pretty sleek and minimal. So from a visual perspective, it's also very appealing. Although the ad's not saying a lot, which sometimes can be a good thing because you kind of want to build that curiosity and just, hey, here's a snippet of what it's all about. Click here to find out more. So I do think the ad is doing its job, is saying, this is the price of the clubs and this is how it might look. Just click here and find out more. Uh,
I agree.
However, we don't have a lot of other information. So I will be hoping to see and learn a lot more about this brand because this is not a brand that I am familiar with. I've heard of Titleist, Colorway, all the big boys, but who is this guy?
Yeah, I think that's a good summary, man. And I do like the messaging here. It's very like simple, affordable, same premium materials. So that gives me the sense of, all right, this has what I need and it's still going to be good quality. And what I actually really like here is the get into the game for only 6.99. So to me, this ad specifically is really focused on that new golfer. And to be honest, I was in a similar situation where had gone to the driving range with a mutual friend of ours, actually, with Lance, borrowed his clubs a few times, kept pestering me to get started. Let's play golf, play golf. But I never got to the point where I went and got that set of clubs. But
Right.
it's
You need a wife first.
so I need a wife and a house before I can have a golf clubs to put in the garage and gather dust. Okay, so we agree the ad's good, builds curiosity. So next step in the journey is this is one of the landing page. So we've done this based on desktop just for legibility in this format, but naturally the mobile is relevant too. Okay, so the first thing we have here is there's a bit of a disconnect, I think. Naturally,
Yeah.
sales and promotions are important, but we click this simple, affordable, get into the game, and then okay, a sale is good, so it's not too bad. But if I was looking for myself, then I'm seeing get dad what he really wants. It's like, well, actually, I'm looking for me. Dad's already got golf clubs, already plays a lot of golf. It's not about dad. It's about me. Uh, okay, so we'll keep scrolling and tell me your thoughts, Will.
Uh, I so that one is a video, just so
Yeah,
everyone knows, is a video. Again, I think visually it's very appealing. When I first landed on the site, it very inspirational, everything.
It's a
I
nice
do
video.
see Red Dot Award, which I don't know what that is. Is it a design award? Yeah, product design. Okay. 4.6 is probably not the most compelling rating, but it's still okay. Now I really want to know more about this brand. Who is this brand? How long they've been around for? Where do they base? Who's the founder? Let's see if we can find those information.
Okay, so
So we see premium materials, modern design, and precision finishes. Look better, play better. It's still not really answering the questions that I have just bubbling in my mind. What do you think?
I think the overall impression is from a design perspective, it looks good and it feels sleek and it feels professional. Uh, but I tend to agree. It's like who sticks, and I think that's a big challenge in the golf market in general. Is you have the major brands who have a lot of credibility. They've got the PGA golfers, people know them. So when you rock up to the golf club, you've got a Titleist, or you've got a Callaway. People at least know these brands, and there is a social element to golf where if you turn up and people will ask you what clubs you're using, and you sort of people need to have an answer to that as well. As we go through, I think this all looks good. Premium materials. My question with that is generally, yeah, okay, premium. What does that mean? Okay, so we've got highest quality stainless steel, titanium graphite. Cool. These all look really nice, but they seem like renders to me. So I'm not. I mean, I could be a little bit skeptical, just me. But anyway, realistically, people probably aren't going to scroll down that far. They're probably going to click something before they get down here. So be interested to see the click rates on those, but I can't imagine they're super high just because they're down here. This actually, I mean, this to me is pretty interesting. We've got Forbes, Sports Illustrated, Golf Magazine, and Breaking 80. I'm not familiar with that,
Right.
but uh, we don't have the logos. I have to assume that's because there's a licensing reason that they can't use the logos, because
Yeah.
otherwise this is great for
But
building trust.
you can
And
still feature them though, which I don't think this is the right spot for this big publication. Um,
yeah, it's treated in the same way that the reviews are, which were here. So especially because we have actual quotes. I mean, the impact of these logos is definitely getting less and less, especially Forbes, because people just put them on without anything else. It's just the logo. The fact that we've actually got quotes here and links to the articles to read more, that's really good to build trust. And trust is something that is very important when people come from a landing page, especially with a lower priced, affordable product in a premium market. So I would definitely suggest that these should be more prominent to build trust upfront. That would at
mm.
least then frame the rest of the experience through the site. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I'll also question what is the message that those YouTube videos and that top video is trying to convey. What do we want people to think about us? So this one, I'm not sure what to expect from it because it doesn't give me any idea as to what this video is about. I'm guessing it's just featuring the
Ah,
clubs again.
sorry, you know what I just realized? These are the logos for the quotes.
Is it?
Yeah, that's Golf Magazine there.
Ah,
I'm not sure who this sketchy dude with a golf club is. Maybe that's Breaking 80. Looks like a like a villain or something. That's Sports Illustrated. Yeah, okay. So this to me looks a little bit like this message isn't hitting. Like we scrolled past this a few times, and it doesn't make sense to me why they're not attached to the quotes or near them. So I think if we have these as assets to work with, uh, and quotes next to them, we'll definitely be featuring that more, because this, I think, this could be where the designers, this might look cleaner from a design perspective, but from a message perspective, you're losing a great opportunity to build trust. And also what you were saying with this, I mean, this is a mock-up, so we can't click on it in here. We could probably go and watch it, but the question here is there's nothing in this video that I might click from curiosity, but a more compelling thumbnail or something that answers my question or that might increase the click rate of that kind of video. Shall we move on to
so let's assume we just click on one of these buttons.
All right, we click shop.
Yep. Then we'll land on this. I assume it's a collection page, which I'm finding a little difficulty to trying to navigate myself. So we have 3 columns at the top, one with a banner say up your game, and then the 2 other columns kind of showing the same things, but they're different products. One is $9.99, one is $6.99, but I don't know which one I should click on, because they all kind of have similar messaging: get better or get started. So yeah, I think it needs something to help me to navigate which one I should. Well, unless I really know I want the black matte design, then I will go straight to the get better one. I guess that's the name of that Perform series.
Yeah. This confuses me on a few perspectives because and as I was looking at this site before we did this, I legitimately like got stuck at this point for a kind of solid 10 seconds where I'm trying to work out which I want to do. If we go back to the ad and this copy, and I know there's probably a lot of different ads too, but getting into the game for only $6.99, it's like a compelling offer, say in Will's situation as well. And then that kind of connects through to this. To me, the idea of like getting started into golf, here's your set, it's everything you need. Because you notice there's no singles here really, and we have the nav for everything else quite far down. So I can only assume that the goal here is really to sell the sets. In which case, I would probably think emphasizing one of them is necessary. Either my gut feel would be focusing on that, especially if that's what the ad content is angled at. From a design perspective as well, and just presentation, the part that confuses me is both start with get. Both of the second ones the second words are about the same length. I don't know what perform or play is. I would like to do both of those things. I'd also like to get better. And so I think, long story short, there's a confusing navigation path here where the collection page should be about as seamlessly as possible getting them to the thing that they want.
Yeah. And like you pointed out, I think they only do the whole set. So yeah, I'm just trying to think what would people
says that. Well,
that you can get individual ones, but it does feel like
the goal is sets. Yeah.
Yeah, the goal is to get you to get a set. Yeah, just trying to also think about what someone would think if they just want a driver, let's say, because that's usually the case for many golfers. But the ad did pretty good in terms of qualifying it, I guess, because it does feature only the whole set.
Yeah, and maybe depending on the role of that landing page, you probably would want to see this on that landing page, because if we've come from there, this get started or getting that core message across of the clubs and the set, there's a bit more of a connect to that. And again, conscious there's probably other ads and not all of them are angled at the same thing, but I feel like that would probably help to give people an option to get straight to the products from here rather than going to shop now and then getting in this different hierarchy. The other thought I would have, just building on your point, Will, is like, this is it seems like an odd place to have the navigation for the category. I would expect that to be a bit higher. If we click shop now, that would be somewhere up here. So in case I do want an individual driver, that I would be able to find it by clicking here. So
Yeah, this almost feels like an other landing page after the landing page.
yeah, yeah, the
Which
flow
is
seems a
why
bit
I
curious.
think we're a bit confused because we were probably when we click on shop now, we'll be expecting to see somewhat like either a product page or a collection page.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's a little. I think it's a little confusing after hitting shop, and there's a bit of friction about finding what we want, and generally the collection page should be making that as easy as possible. So there could be some drop offs here or confusion, but let's
yeah.
just say we went
But
and clicked.
yeah, let's just say I'm very motivated. I really like the clubs, and I click on one of them.
Yeah.
Let's see what's gonna happen.
All right. So we're on the perform club set. Hang on. So we had all right. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's the
okay.
991 one, but it's
Oh, that's this one.
somehow
Okay.
converted. Yeah, it's somehow converted into Australian dollar on the product
Yeah.
page.
We're in different parts of the world.
And
That's why.
now, yeah, and now it looks a lot more expensive, but it's
That's a problem with our rendering. So and that's a script. Yeah, this is also that video too. So one thing I will say is that the video looks great. Like aesthetically, I think the brand looks good. Like all of the photography, the imagery, it's very sleek, very polished design, looks nice. So you can't see that. Obviously, it's the mock-up. One thing I actually found a little bit confusing myself is just from here, because the main thing here, it's like get better or get started. Let's say we click get better, and then it says perform club set. And I know it says perform series here, but the hierarchy of that is I actually had to go back to go, wait, is this the one? That's just a small thing, but it felt to me like it should say get better. I'm not saying it has to, but that was my expectation in a way to go, did I click to the right page? So,
yeah.
okay, now we're on the PDP.
Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see the copy.
Oh, okay. I was just looking at the sexy looking clubs. They do look very nice.
Yeah, they are. I think that's a very strong value proposition for the brand.
Yeah.
It's visually, and you don't see this matte black a lot in the golf market. Most of them are just, like steel. So this is definitely very appealing to some golfers.
It's like if Batman had golf clubs, this is what he'd use.
Yeah, there you go. That's
You guys can use that. use that quote.
you can yeah.
You can use it. Okay.
Quote from Batman. This is what I will use.
Okay, so now we're on the PDP, ignoring the price. That's just a poor exchange rate in Australia, which makes things more expensive. But let's say it's what was it, 9.99?
999, yeah.
Wait, that's still that's even more than should be like 1,500. It's going. Oh, that's customs duties and taxes. See, this is the problem when you live so far away in Australia. Anyhow, okay, so back to this. That's good. This helps build trust. Suddenly we go, all right, so that's 5 stars. There's lots of reviews. That to me it feels unconventional. And that might just because I'm not necessarily in the market, but the first call to action to see, like, this is, I would expect the red button, like the rest of the site, to say add to cart. But it says configure, which isn't an issue. It just, there's a bit of a confusion there. And then we'll scroll down, and what are your thoughts?
I do like everything you need to up your game. It's reinforcing the message that initially that we click on to get started. So everything you need, I'm assuming it includes the golf bag as well. Let's see where we can find it. Yep, it does include the stand bag. Head covers included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So It took me a while to see that though. I know the bag is there. It'd be nice to just say it said includes 12 clubs, bag and head covers. And then you could link it out there because that gets a little bit lost here. 6 stand bag and head covers. I know you see it in the imagery, but probably just want to be clear about that to go. Otherwise, I might see that and say, oh, it includes 12 clubs. Okay, but does it have the bag too? Or is that just for rendering purposes?
Yeah. I think the question that I would have at this stage would be, okay, well, clubs look very nice. Price is decent, if not on a cheaper lower end, which is very affordable. But then who is it? Can I trust this brand?
Yeah. Also, where's the add cut? Oh, actually, I think you have to click because I did the mobile. You have to
You
click.
probably have to configure, yeah, first.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's also again, we're not necessarily saying it's it's wrong or not working because we have no idea. It might be working brilliantly. But from a customer perspective, there's certain expectations that we have for how an ecom site functions and what we expect. And there is like, I guess people are going to click it because they can't see any add to cart. There may be just different ways to present that. So this is on the mobile version. When you click configure, this is what you see. So you have your options to choose. Now, I like this. I like actually having the bag bundled in and being able to save off the bag. I think that's quite cool. Because then people feel like they're actually saving money by removing something. You're in the market, Will. What do you make of this when you go through this process? So you've said that you basically at this point are going, all right, who is the brand? Everything looks pretty good. It's got the clubs you need. It's got a bag. It's got everything you need. And you're saying,
Yeah,
who is
I
it?
was trying to see, okay, well, anything on this page that will tell me a bit more about this brand? Or how should I justify when I see my friends at the range or on the course playing 9 holes and they say, well, what do you have here? What do I say? Do I just say, I just saw this Facebook ad and I don't know, I bought this from a random brand. It looks cool. Is that what I'm gonna tell them?
You're going to
So
tell
I
them,
kind of need something that sounds very compelling. This brand that does this and it's very cool. This founder, you know, he he did this and design all of these clubs. I need something to tell my friend. Do we have
yeah.
it?
And we don't really have anything about that here. Uh, it's very focused on the products. I think
Mm,
this photo is good because it adds a human aspect to it as well. I think, yeah, this and this is challenging as well in the golf world because there is a certain aesthetic that is established of the PGA professionals, but the reality is that most golfers aren't like that at all. And I think this guy probably strikes a good middle ground where this does, he looks like professional enough, but also looks like someone who you might just see having a hit at the club. This guy looks
yeah,
like he's a bit better.
yeah. I'll be now curious to see what they have on their our story page. But I
Okay.
don't think we have it.
That's where
Uh,
you're wrong. That's where you're wrong,
oh,
Will. I've
wow.
I've prepared.
Always over prepare.
Here's
Yes.
here's one
Always
I've
over delivering.
mate. Here's one I've prepared earlier. So this was, and the reason I prepared this is because I had the same questions as you when I was going through the site, and unfortunately, I didn't get any answers from this page. Okay, it's good. It articulates the core value proposition. And then we've got the origin story, which is it's a nice story. After 20 years of playing golf, our founder decided he's ready. He's offered a beginner set, etc. My main question here is who is the founder? Why are we not saying his name, or do we have a picture? We have a picture of the team. So at this point, for me, and because I'm somewhat skeptical in general, I'm thinking, okay, who is this brand actually? Um, Everything looks nice, but I don't really know much about them. And like Will said, if people ask me about them, I want to have something to say. So
Mm.
here we have like good stuff about the philosophy and the approach, but we're lacking trust ultimately. And we've seen this before where we've done tests with em- emphasizing the founders and just humanizing it by showing people who work there. It gives people confidence that this is an actual company. They're not going to get ripped off. So I think that's something I'd like to see.
Yeah. I actually did it with a golf brand.
We
Yeah.
did, we
It
did, and
was,
with another brand too. So okay, so you're on the PDP now. What, Will? What are you doing? You're interested in the clubs. How do you find this page?
yeah, I'll say this whole journey from the ad to the product page, number one, design has been very consistent. But at the same time, I feel like the messaging is more or less giving me a similar thing,
Mm.
and I'm not learning anything new. It's like stunning design. Okay, I probably saw that on the landing page. Perfect for 99% of golfers. Again, I think we have something similar there. I
That
just
one,
need to learn a
sorry
bit
to
more.
sorry to interrupt. I that one I actually quite I think there's a lot of promise with that message because one of the challenges in this space is the pro clubs, right? The clubs that people use on the PGA tour, the big brand names. But most golfers aren't that. And this one is a bit more about the actual golfer. This is about me. Uh, and I think that there's probably some merit in explaining why, hey, you don't need to spend the money on the big brand name
Mm.
clubs. So that might be something that with
Yeah, I think there's a very unique positioning here because obviously we work with BombTech before, BombTech Golf, and the positioning is similar, affordability, but at the same time, the brand is probably intentionally not to be too, what's the right word? Just they don't have awesome design. It's not like every photo is very sleek and perfect. It feels a little homemade, but that's kind of their positioning. There's the proposition there as well, because the brand does look a little cheap as well.
yeah,
So it aligns with the affordability angle, and it works really well. And obviously, they had a big emphasis on the founder himself. Yeah, it's a good combination. Whereas this here, we're seeing similar things, but in a very different way. So I think this will appeal to a segment that really appreciate minimalism, design, as well as affordability as well. So that
yeah,
might not resonate with bomb tech golf necessary because it's a very very different vibe and
yeah.
positioning there.
Okay, so after all that, where does that leave us, Will?
Well, I think number one, good design, and yeah, everything is very consistent from a visual point of view. I would say though, the messaging probably needs to be a little bit more specific. There are a few things that I think we both really like. The everything is inclusive angle, everything you need, and then
Mm,
also the part where it's perfect for 99% of the golfers, which I do think it can. We can elaborate on that a little bit. The video that they have, which I just watched, is actually quite good. It talked about the pricey options, which then it give us this sense of like we're all in this together. So I wish there's a bit more messaging on that. And then finally, just on trust building, we just went on the review page and actually saw the logos there. So it looks like they can actually use those logos, and I'll definitely feature them more, and just really find ways to build trust through credibility, publications, and really feature a few reviews that perhaps talks about how they drop the handicap or just the quality of it in general, to really make sure that we answer that question: who is this brand? Can I trust this? Is the quality is going to be good?
So you're going to buy them?
I might. I do like the design, but you know, you maybe that's another thing. If you need to find a way to explain it to your friend, you also need to find a way to explain it to your wife. Uh, maybe it's maybe you can have a little drop down button to say, here's what you should say to your partner.
I love it. I love it. So that's it. That's the first of a little series that we're going to be doing, where we're just going to be picking some sites at random and do a run through. So hopefully that's been helpful and you've got some value out of that. And if you want to learn anything more, you can go to scalemessaging.com. As we mentioned, we focus on messaging CRO for e-commerce businesses and lead gen. The whole plan is to increase the conversion rate and revenue by getting the message right at the right time. So I'm Adrian. This is Will. Thanks for watching.